1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honey Bee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome to Season 5 of Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
Woo!
I am one of your hosts, Precious D.
And I'm the other one of your hosts, Honey Bee. Season 5, baby!
Honeybee and I are two best friends who are making our way through the history of Kaiju movies. We started in 1933 with the original King Kong, and today we are in 2014 with Godzilla.
Yeah.
Which is why we're starting a new season, because this is the beginning of a new era, I feel, in the Kaiju movies.
It definitely is. And I remember when this movie came out and I just gave zero fucks about it. And the guy that I was with at the time was like so excited and like wanted to go see it and was just like so excited it was in theaters and I just gave zero fucks, so I didn't really go, and he just loved it so much. And then like later on I saw some things in passing when he would like watch it, so I had seen like bits and pieces of this movie, but I hadn't like actually sat down and watched it, and that's just so funny to me now. So funny to me now that I just feel so bad that I gave zero fucks, and I'm like, damn, I apologize.
Well, before we get into your initial thoughts, I just want to mention that Kaiju Go is happening again in August 16th.
Yeah!
Dallas, Texas, at the Texas Theater. We are sponsors. We will be there. Go get your tickets now at kaijugo.com. It is a Japanese film and art show, and you can read all the details about that at kaijugo.com. They'll be showing 2 movies, and there'll be lots of artists and vendors, and it'll be great fun for the whole family. So, Honeybee, now that you finally saw Godzilla 2014, what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts are, man, wow. My initial thoughts are wow. Definitely a new era. Definitely a good, like, we're starting over here. We have all of the things that, you know, make a classic kaiju movie, like trains and bridges and that sorts of things. Godzilla looks amazing. I love this design of Godzilla. I really love just like his square, like boxy nose, and just like the shape of him. His like he's kind of like stubby, like his little short, thick ass legs. I just love this design very much. I will say the people shit I feel like is better in the beginning of the movie. I kind of like stopped giving a shit about the people shit at some time, but I don't think it's bad or like as boring as we have seen some people shit be. It's not like Godzilla -1 people shit where I care deeply, but I will say that it isn't like, you know, just like, I don't fucking care. It's a little bit of the in-between. Definitely I feel like the beginning of the movie with the people shit was way better than the people shit towards the end of the movie, I guess. But yeah, I did enjoy this movie. I'm really glad we're here. I'm really glad I got to see it. And you know when you get to watch something for the first time, and so like it's just so like new to you and fresh, and you get to be like surprised by things or see things. I really have that spirit of like watching a football game or something when I watch these movies where I'm just alone in my living room screaming at like the TV, like, because something is just so good or something is like so bad or whatever, you know? So I really enjoyed watching this movie and getting to see all of the new things and kind of see where we started with the Legendary series, because when we started this podcast, we did watch Godzilla versus Kong together.
Yes.
And I hadn't really seen, and it was only because it was in the movie theater. It was like coming out. We had to see it,
Yeah.
So I did see that, and then of course Godzilla X Kong and Godzilla Minus One. But besides those things, I haven't really seen where this kind of genre of Godzilla starts, and so it's really cool to be at the beginning of that right now. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, y'all.
I think, didn't we see that at the drive-in?
Yeah, we did because
And
it was like COVID times.
Yeah, and we recorded our trailer in the car.
Yeah,
So we had
and we had to be in two separate cars because it was like COVID.
Did we?
Yeah.
I thought we joined each other in the. Maybe not. I know we drove there in two separate cars, but.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, let's get some stats here. Like I said, 2014.
Wait. What about your initial thoughts?
Well, I have mixed feelings.
I don't like the sound of that.
I have mixed feelings. There's not enough. Not enough Godzilla.
For sure.
Kind of a bait and switch, which is maybe good. Well, there's a lot of things in the beginning that I think you assume it's Godzilla, and then no, it's these Mutos that are doing that shit, not Godzilla. I don't know. If I were doing this, I don't know that I would have started with Godzilla versus somebody else right away. I might have just done Godzilla, but I think the legendary approach has been to have Godzilla be the hero from the beginning, rather than him starting out as a villain and then turning into a hero. They decided to just jump straight to the hero phase, so they had to have somebody for him to fight.
Right.
I mean, he still tears up a lot of shit and doesn't really care about the people.
Yeah.
I also just did not give a crap about our lead character.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like his dad. His dad is who you give a crap about, right?
Yeah.
Or is that just me? Like,
no.
I was like, first of all, I was shocked. Like, oh my God, it's Walter White? Because like that's just, yeah.
So to
and
me,
also he looks the exact same in the face, but he has hair, so it just looks like he's kind of wearing a wig. I know he's not, but it's just like it just looks, because I'm just used to him being bald, I guess.
Right. To me, he's Hal from
Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really watch much of that show. I have seen it, but I didn't like watch it when it was happening.
I think I watched pretty much all of it. Of course, it has an opening theme song from one of my favorite bands. They Might Be Giants. Anyhow, yes, he's in it. But yeah, this lead guy, do not give a crap.
Yeah, he gives very big, what is it? Is it Sam Worthington, the guy that you don't like, that you also don't give a crap about? They're very similar.
Yeah, Jai Courtney also, same category. I can't.
Just a list of guys you don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, I don't remember who said this. I feel like maybe it was a Riff Tracks or something, but they were like, "Stop trying to make Jai Courtney a thing."
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, he's in that same category. He's jaying it up all over the place here in this movie.
Damn.
I mean, the effects are great.
Effects are great.
Bryan Cranston's great. Other people in it are great or good. One thing I really like is how, and this continues throughout the rest of these legendary movies, the Japanese people all call him Gojira and the Americans call him Godzilla. And that just really amuses me. And nobody addresses it. Nobody says, well, which is it? Is it Gojira or Godzilla? Or argues about which is the right name. They just do it. And I kind of...
Well, isn't it just the same name when one's pronounced... Isn't Gojira Godzilla in Japan? Like, or is it literally two different names?
It's two different names. I mean, it's... Whenever they...
Because it's like Ariana Grande, you know? Like... If you were saying it like with a Spanish accent, it was going to sound different than Ariana Grande.
I mean,
like Ariana Grande.
Gojira is his Japanese name, and there was no reason not to just call him Gojira when they brought it over here. But for some reason, some white dude decided They came up with the name Godzilla. It's not, they're different consonants. It's not the same.
Okay.
I don't know how they came up with that name. I mean, the Z in it implies lizard. I don't know. I don't know why we changed the name when we imported it, but we did.
Weird. I just thought it was the same thing, just like like I thought it was just like a Japanese word, and in English it was just spelled different. I've thought this whole time, this whole years.
No, they've
Yeah. Because that does happen.
Yeah.
Like if you were to say a word in English and you were to say it in a different,
sure.
it's going to be spelled differently.
Sure.
You know.
And these days, there's a lot of Japanese words that are adapted from English words, but they're not full English, but they don't originate in Japanese. If I'm making any sense, like
I think so.
Sumato is smartphone. Worado is world. There's other native Japanese words for world, but there's also a version that's a mangling of English, an adapting of English. There's a lot of words like that where they've taken the English word and then just sort of pronounced it in a Japanese way, and I mean you do get that throughout languages, especially with the names of countries, but. But no, I wouldn't say Godzilla is just how Americans pronounce Gojira. I mean, they both start with a G. They both start with a G sound, but they're very different words.
Wow.
So
how embarrassing for me.
But well, they did the same thing in the 90, but they called it out in the 95, 94, the previous American Godzilla.
98.
98, yeah. Where the Japanese guy says Gojira, and then the news anchor says, so there you have it, Godzilla. And the woman that's watching is like, no, it's Gojira, you idiot, not. But they actually call it out in that one. Anyway, yeah, that just amuses me.
That is pretty funny.
Anyway, let's do some stats here. Released in 2014, it's 123 minutes in English. The budget is $160 million. The box office was $529.1 million. The director was Gareth Edwards, who directed Monsters. And that's kind of why he's directing this movie. That's what got him this job. The cast is Aaron Taylor Johnson as U.S. Navy EOD Lieutenant Ford Brody. Ken Watanabe as Dr. Ishiro Serizawa, which I appreciate them naming him Dr. Serizawa. Folks, if you don't know, that was the name of a doctor in the original movie. He does not.
Yeah, as soon as they said it, I was like,
patch.
what? I had to rewind it to make sure that that's what they said. And I was like, yeah.
This one does not have an eye patch, disappointingly, but Elizabeth Olsen as Ellie Brody, Ford's wife.
Cute.
Juliette Binoche as Sandra Brody. Sally Hawkins as Dr. Vivian Graham. David Strathern? I don't know how he pronounces it. As Admiral William Stenz. Bryan Cranston as Joe Brody. TJ Storm as Godzilla. He did the motion capture. We met him 2 years ago at G-Fest and interviewed him. Go back and listen to that interview on whichever episode it's on.
His voice is as smooth as butter. You won't want to miss it.
Carson Boldy as Sam Brody. That's the kid. Richard T. Jones as Captain Russell Hampton. Victor Rasuk as Sergeant Trey Morales. Patrick Sabongui as Master Sergeant Marcus Waltz. Jared Kiso as Jumpmaster. Al Sapienza as Huddleston. Brian Markinson as Whalen. Catherine Logue Hagquist as PO number 1. Bunch of other people here in bit parts. I don't know. And there was supposed to be a cameo by Akira Takarada, but it
Oh
got cut.
no! Why?
I'll tell you why. But also, it's not on the DVD. It should be on the DVD and the Blu-ray and everything. I think you can find it on YouTube now. The reason is because it's unnecessary, and I guess they thought
It's very necessary.
he plays a ticket agent at the airport. So the scene is not essential to the plot, and I guess the movie's running a little long. It's 123 minutes. And they realized we don't need to see him buying his airplane ticket.
But we do need to see
But
Takarada.
I know. So I would have just cast Takarada in a bigger part. I would have had him play Dr. Serizawa.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would have done.
That would have been badass.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a shame. But they should have at least put it as a thing on the Blu-ray, and I don't know why they didn't. That was fucked up.
That is fucked up.
I do think Elizabeth Olsen is totally wasted in this movie.
Oh.
She just, I like Elizabeth Olsen, and I'm just like, well, you're just playing this wife. Yeah, she's a nurse, but she's just like, oh, honey, you got to get back home, and he's, I don't know. It just, I'm not sure he needed a wife and child. I'm not sure we needed him at all, but
He definitely did need a wife and child.
okay.
Only because of like how his mom dies and how his dad is never
Right.
there for him because he's
Right.
obsessed with this thing. So he has to like be a better dad than his
Sure.
dad or some shit.
Sure.
But yeah, like I said, like the people shit towards the first half of the people shit, like with the mom dying and like Joe, oh my gosh, can we just talk about like how good his acting is? Like he had me fucking crying in the first 15 minutes of this movie. Like
Bryan Cranston.
oh yes. Like I'm like, this man is really feeling some shit. Like he dug deep for this fucking like moment, and it's just incredible.
And it should have been about him.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead of his just flat, boring ass son. If they had to have his son in it, he should have at least been with him the whole time. All right, let's get into the plot. In 1954, Godzilla, a prehistoric alpha predator, is lured to Bikini Atoll in an attempt to kill him with a nuclear weapon, which we just kind of get quick glimpses of in the opening credits.
Yeah.
In 1999, Monarch scientists Ishiro Serizawa and Vivian Graham investigate the skeleton of a monster similar to Godzilla in a cavern unearthed by a collapsed uranium mine in the Philippines. They find 2 giant spores, one dormant and one hatched, along with a trail leading to the sea. In Japan, the Janjira nuclear power plant experiences unusual seismic activity. Supervisor Joe Brody sends his wife Sandra to lead a team of technicians into the reactor. A tremor breaches the reactor, forcing Joe to close the reactor door before Sandra and her team can escape while the plant collapses. Yeah, this is brutal.
It's fucking brutal, dude. Wow. Like, it's so brutal. And something that really got me is when she's like telling him, right, like, you gotta close the door, we're not gonna make it. And he's like, oh, like, hurry, don't say that, get up, run. But he does end up having to close the door, and he knows it. And even though she knew it also and was encouraging him to do that, when she gets to the door and she says, take care of Ford, and then she says, she kind of laughs like nervously and is like, she's like, we didn't make it. And like, it's so obvious that they didn't make it. Like, it's just such a raw moment of her just like reacting to like, fuck, I'm about to die down here.
Yep.
And it got me, dude. Oh my gosh. Like, I had literal tears in my eyes. I was like, holy shit. Like, it was so raw. Her like, take care of Ford, and then like the we didn't make it. Like, oh, that hit me. That hit me hard.
We also see some of young Ford in this opening bit here. And he's
Yeah.
made a happy birthday banner for his dad, but his dad was in a hurry, so he didn't see it.
Or no, it was his birthday.
Yeah. And then we see Ford in school when the plant starts blowing up. And then all the kids, well, probably most of those kids have parents, or at least a significant number of them, have parents that work in that plant. So they're all watching it collapse. 15 years later, Joe and Sandra's son Ford, a U.S. Navy EOD officer that is explosive ordnance disposal, he gets rid of bombs, returns from a tour of duty to his wife Ellie and son Sam in San Francisco. He departs for Japan after Joe is detained for trespassing in Janjira's quarantine zone. This was so... he's been gone for a while, and he's tucking his son in, and his son's like, "Dad, are you going to be here in the morning?" Because
sad.
Kid hasn't seen him for months at least. And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And then, nope, no, he's not. Gets a call.
Yeah, which I was like, okay, are they trying to be like symbolic of in some way of like how his dad was, so enveloped in his work that he couldn't be a dad, and now he's here doing the same thing. Like he can't. I mean, it's not his work. He has to go get his dad out of jail. But also, why would you get your dad out? I don't know. There's like something here that I don't necessarily love in the storyline.
But he does. But even before that, though, he has a job that keeps him away from his family all the time.
Yeah.
Because the
totally.
cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, a little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when. But we'll fight Godzilla then, son.
We're gonna fight Godzilla then.
So yeah, he's just... I mean, so Dad's in jail, so call a lawyer in Japan. Why you gotta get on a plane immediately? It can wait.
Seriously, and then not only can it wait, but then he gets there and his dad's like, no, like gives zero fucks that he just flew to Japan.
Yeah. But this would be where we would have gotten the scene with Takarada.
Aww.
With him buying his ticket. So let's see. So after the nuclear power plant collapsed, they quarantined the whole area. But Joe keeps trying to sneak in. I get the impression he's been doing this for a while. He's been obsessing.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been obsessing about this event.
And they have this moment too where he kind of explains it. He's like, "Your mom is out there to me. She'll always be out there." And he's like, "Why? You got to stop this." And he's like, "I sent her down there, she's always going to be out there to me. I sent her there." And he's like, "Just come home with me, Dad. We can leave tomorrow. You can see your grandson." And he's just obviously gives zero fucks because he's obsessed with this, this thing, which I mean is great storyline for him. And I really appreciate his acting so much. I could not fucking believe that they took him out so quickly.
Yeah. So he because he's been obsessing about this, though, it seems like he hasn't been there for his son all these years because he's been obsessing about this, figuring out he's suspicious about what really caused the meltdown.
Yeah.
Because the seismic data doesn't add up or something. So he's been, and he's trying to get back to his house to get some data.
And pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's such a sad thing about they had to evacuate, and he doesn't even have any photographs of his dead wife. So they do. That's not the main reason he's going, but they do grab a photo while they're there.
Yeah.
So Joe's determined to find out the cause of the meltdown and persuades Ford to accompany him to retrieve vital data from their old home.
Which I was shocked that he actually talked Ford into this. I was like, okay, I'm surprised he's going. All right. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
They learn that the zone is uncontaminated and retrieve the data. And they learn it's uncontaminated in the way that every dumbass in every fucking movie does, where he just takes his helmet off and takes a deep breath. Is the air breathable on this alien planet? Pop. Yes, it is. Jesus. Dumbasses.
Okay, but did you see the aquarium in the house?
I think so. What about it?
Okay, so they're like in their house getting the data, and on the aquarium, there is a tiny little busted out cocoon, and the label on the aquarium says Mothra.
I did not notice that. So it was
Oh,
it was
I
a
screamed.
so it was like a terrarium, not an aquarium. It was like, I mean, it's shaped like an aquarium, but you think
Right,
that
right. You can't
they
really
were
tell
keeping
because like everything's been like burnt to shit and like, the house has
right?
been like just sitting there for ages. So it just looks like you can see right through it. It
Yeah,
just kind of looks like a fish aquarium, and you
yeah,
can't really tell. But and the camera just kind of like lightly pans across it, and I saw her like name, and I like pause it, and I'm like, what the hell? And I like rewind it, and it's just like a little tiny cocoon that something has already busted out of. Like it's just like obviously something hatched out of it, and it said Mothra on the label.
I never noticed that. I guess I should go back to the earlier scene and see if we see the live moth.
Oh
in there.
my god, I didn't even think about that. Hangs up on you right now, goes to check.
Let's see. So it's uncontaminated. They retrieve the data, but they are discovered and taken to a facility in the plant's ruins. The facility harbors a massive chrysalis that has been feeding off the plant's reactors for 15 years and emitting intense electromagnetic pulses over time. A giant winged insect-like creature that is not Mothra emerges from the chrysalis and escapes, destroying the facility. Joe is severely injured and later dies. The incident...
No, I can't believe
I
this.
know.
Why?
I know.
Like, what? I just don't understand why they. First of all, why did they kill him off? And then second of all, why did they go to his son and they're like questioning him, like, what is your dad's research? Like, what did he say to you? We need to know everything. And I'm like, bro, he doesn't fucking know. He didn't even like the man. Like he didn't even want to talk to this man. And but the moment when he's having that, like, he's screaming at the two-way mirror because he knows they're watching him, and
Yeah.
he's like, my wife died here, something killed my wife, and I have a right to know. Tears again, like
Yeah.
tears
Yeah.
again. He is so fucking good at
Yeah.
pulling that emotion from the
Yeah.
depths of his soul and making you fucking believe it. And I
Yeah.
couldn't believe they killed him.
They probably couldn't afford to keep him more than 2
I
weeks.
guess. Oh,
But there is kind of a moment with Ford though of kind of like, oh shit, Dad was right all this time.
yeah, fuck you, Ford.
Kind of his perspective on the whole situation changes when he realizes, oh, he wasn't just crazy and he was ignoring me for a good reason because he was right. It's not really a good reason,
Yeah, what a
but
bummer. Such a
Uh,
bummer.
So anyway,
All the way around.
yeah, the incident is reported publicly as an earthquake. Sarazawa and Graham join a U.S. Navy task force led by Admiral William Stenz to search for the creature, dubbed a MUTO, which stands for Massive Unidentified Terrestrial Organism. So when Godzilla shows up, why don't they just call him a MUTO as well?
Because Sarazawa says, Gojira.
Gojira, yeah. Sarazawa and
Gojira.
Graham revealed to Ford that a 1954 deep-sea expedition awakened Godzilla. Nuclear tests in the 1950s were attempts to kill him. When this did not work, Project Monarch was established to study Godzilla and similar monsters secretly. They explained that the MUTO caused the Janjira meltdown. Ford reveals Joe had monitored echolocation signals indicating the MUTO was communicating with something, presumably Godzilla.
This is so funny. I just like had this moment where, they're talking about the echolocation and the kaiju communicating back and forth. And I'm just like, imagine what the kaiju is saying to the other one, like, I'm gonna hatch, you motherfucker. And Godzilla's like, the fuck you are, I'm gonna whoop your ass, you piece of shit. Like, it's just so funny for me to think about. Like, yeah, these kaiju are just communicating back and forth. Obviously, we find out it's not Godzilla and the MUTO that are communicating, but which makes it even funnier because then he's like, hey, baby. And she's like, what's up, daddy? And it's just like, I just imagine these kaiju screaming back and forth through this echolocation. What are they saying to each other?
The MUTO attacks a Russian submarine and drops it on Oahu to eat its nuclear material.
Delicioso.
Godzilla arrives, causing a tsunami in Honolulu. and briefly engages the Muto in battle until it flees.
I love this thing that we do here, and this happens a lot in the show, and I feel like they did a good ode to it, where we don't necessarily see all of Godzilla at once, but we like get a little tail action, we get a little dorsal fin, we get a little thigh, we get an eyeball, that kind of shit, where it's just
Uh-huh.
like, ooh, tease, a little tease, a little tease, a little tease. Because it makes it so good when we actually get the whole pan up of seeing him in his full form. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Let's see. Godzilla arrives, causing a tsunami in Honolulu, and briefly engages the Muto in battle until it flees. Serizawa deduces Godzilla was only listening as the Muto was communicating with something else, prompting the military to investigate the other spore stored in the Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Repository in Nevada. A second, bigger, wingless Muto has emerged and attacks Las Vegas. The scientists deduce it was female and was what the male was communicating with, their signals being a mating call. Yeah.
He
Over
said,
here,
"Bow,
over here.
bow, wow. I've been feeling fine, baby."
I'm over here, I'm over here. I'm coming, I'm coming. Over here this way. I'm on my way. Over the scientists' objections, Stenz approves a plan of using nuclear warheads to lure all three monsters out in the open ocean and destroy them. So they said something earlier about their theory is that these monsters live off radiation. They're radiovores. And that in the past, when the Earth was much more radioactive than it is now, they thrived. But when the radiation started dying down, they kind of went into hibernation, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Also, we gotta tell the folks at home, if for some reason this happens to you, you're just at home and a giant monster is attacking wherever you are, don't get on a train.
yeah,
You should know. Don't get on a train.
it's not on the train.
This guy gets on a train. The train gets bitten in half. He sees another train later on, gets on it. I'm like, wait, no, no, not another train. Then the train starts crossing a bridge, and I'm like, oh, you're fucked, buddy. You're done for. 2 trains and a bridge?
Yeah. So there was a whole. Let's see. It's not. They're leaving out the whole thing with. He's. This
With
is
the
when he's
little
still
kid?
when he's still in Tokyo, I guess, or is he in?
No, he's trying to catch a train to get somewhere, to get to Hawaii to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
Anyway,
But yeah, he
he,
gets on the train, and this little kid like loses his parents somehow.
yeah. Well, they get up to. It's kind of his fault. He's got a little toy soldier. Ford's got a little toy soldier, and the kid's looking at his toy soldier when his parents get up to get off the train, and he stops and turns back to look at the toy soldier, and then the doors close, and so he gets separated from his parents, and Ford indicates, I'll get off the next station, I'll bring him back, and then Godzilla attacks, so they're not able to get off at the next station and come back. But eventually there is a whole refugee thing set up in a sports stadium or someplace. Or is that later? Anyway, there may be multiple situations. Anyway, he takes the kid to, where the authorities have set up a station to deal with the situation, and is starting to register him when the kid spots his parents. So they he gets back together with the parents. But I think this is partly to make us like Ford, that he works really hard to save this random kid that he doesn't even know.
Yeah, because he can't afford to pay attention to his own kids, so he's got to
Right.
save kids out here in the wild.
Yeah.
Just doing his dad's
Yeah.
doing his dad's name good,
And he doesn't have enough personality for us to just care about him because we care about him. So he's got to save the cat, save the kid. In the screenwriting, they call it save the cat. To get us to quickly like a character, we show them saving a cat, and quickly dislike too quick. But it could be anything. It doesn't have to literally be saving a cat.
Sure.
And the opposite, to make us instantly dislike a character, show him kicking a dog.
Oh yeah.
Something
I'll
or
do
something
it.
similar. Yep.
Also, can we talk about the monster noises? Oh,
Uh-huh.
chef's kiss. The Mutos like click 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 click. Oh, I love it. And I don't know why, but their roar sounds sort of wet, if you know what I mean. It just really scratches something in my brain. Ugh, but for some reason the closed captions on the movie said loud warbling when they were roaring, and I was like,
uh,
warbling? What is a warbling? Loud warbling.
yeah, it's I think birds tend to warble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't just off the top of my head make a warble.
Warble, warble, warble. Bing, bing,
Well,
bing,
something
bing,
like that.
bing. Warble,
Yeah.
warble, warble. Bing, 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 bing. Just a little bit. Do you know what I'm talking about? I hope some
Is
of
that
you out
wiggle?
there get that reference.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah, it
wiggle
was.
wiggle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh but yeah, normally it's a bird sound. It's some kinds of birds
Okay,
make
okay,
a
okay.
warble.
That makes sense because I
Uh,
had never heard of that word, and I was like, "What the fuck is a warble?" But we when she's loud warbling, we realize that she has a sack of eggs, and then the second train that dipshit gets on catches on fire and tries to the bridge situation, bridge train kaiju, never a good equation.
yeah. So
Yeah.
let's see. They have the plan with the warheads. Returning to the U.S., Ford joins the team delivering the warheads by train. So he basically just hitches because he's military, is able to hitch a ride on a military plane that's leaving, and then this is basically a Philo situation. He just keeps
Mm.
hooking up with the next stage of things so that he can continue to be
Yes.
in the
The
story.
fun Exactly. The funniest part about him meeting his like getting it to with his family at the end is that the entire film he was on the front lines.
Yeah, yeah,
Every step of the way.
yeah,
He is right in the goddamn middle of it.
yeah. The female Muto, though, intercepts them and devours most of the warheads. Nom, nom, nom. The remaining warhead is airlifted with Ford to San Francisco because Ford gets knocked the fuck out for the first time, but not the last time in this movie. So they take him to San Francisco where the monsters are converging and activated after Godzilla appears at the Golden Gate Bridge. And there's a great scene here with a school bus and a bunch of cars on the
Mm-hmm.
bridge and shit, and he just tears up that
Mm-hmm.
bridge. The male Muto snatches the warhead and takes it to the female, who forms a nest around it in the Chinatown area, where we keep seeing these paper lanterns hanging from some wires. That there was a clip that was in a lot of the previews, the commercials at the time, where Godzilla roars and it makes the lanterns shake.
Oh, the roar is so good. Do the roar. Do the roar.
While Godzilla and the Mutos battle, Ford and a strike team enter the city via halo jump to
Who
find a
who says it? Is it Sarazawa who's like, let him fight?
Yeah,
I was like, shit.
I believe it was him. Yeah,
Fight, 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 fight. Well, then we don't get to see much of the fight, but then we get to see a little bit more as we fall from the sky, from the airplane, the jet, the fighter, whatever. I don't know.
yeah. So their brilliant plan of luring with these warheads has totally backfired, and the remaining warhead is going. They put a timer on it, and it's going to detonate and take out a city that's still got a bunch of people in it.
Mm.
So now they've got to parachute in and try to disarm it. And so of course he's along for the ride again because he's like, "This is my job, is disarming bombs."
Mm-hmm.
And apparently there's nobody else around here who can do it. So
And this fight goes on for so long that my next note is, when is he going to power up and blast these fools?
yeah,
Like, come on, man. We know it's
yeah.
coming. Like, hit us with it. Goji? Yes.
I really liked the Halo jump. That's a high altitude, low opening jump.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked what they were doing with the music and the lighting
red
and the
smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unable to access the timer. So yeah, the backup plan is if we can't disarm it, we got to get it on a boat and get it as far out to sea as we can. So, of course, they are not able to disarm it. So, unable to access the timer, the team gets the warhead onto a boat for disposal at sea while Ford destroys the nest.
Ooh, no, no, no. You fucked up, Ford. You got to go
Godzilla,
face to face with a crying mama.
yeah. Godzilla defeats the Muto and collapses from exhaustion. Ford gets the boat out to the open sea, is rescued before the warhead explodes. I don't know how. I don't know who knew that he was on that boat and decided, we got enough time to go get him before that nuclear bomb goes off, don't we? Yeah. Yeah, I think we do.
Also,
Let's try it.
They didn't even say how Godzilla defeated the Muto. It was with a
Oh,
power up.
Yeah, he
Finally
pries its
yeah.
mouth open and spits in his mouth.
Oh yeah, baby.
Spits his atomic breath right down its mouth.
I've never
Blows
wanted to be
it
a
up.
Muto so bad in my life. I'm just kidding.
I knew you'd have some sort of reaction along those lines. Let's see. And he reunites with his family at an emergency shelter the following morning. Godzilla reawakens and returns to the sea while the media dubs him the King of the Monsters.
Yeah, and he like roars. They're like the savior. He's the savior of our city. And right at this moment, when he wakes up and stands up, we get this music that isn't like Godzilla theme song, but there's something about it we have heard before. It's just two notes that we have like definitely heard in a Godzilla something before. I was like, ooh, I kind of recognize this like music moment. And then he roars and oh yeah, baby, so fucking sick. Godzilla is just I love his design so much with his like boxy little nose. Cause I do love Godzilla minus one Godzilla with his like little round baby face. But
Uh-huh.
I don't know, something about the square face and the kind of dinosaur vibes of the roar just fucking do it for me, man. It's so good.
This Godzilla is a very chonky Godzilla.
He is chonky.
He's thick with two C's.
Damn, boy, that's a thick ass boy.
It says here on the Wikipedia that it mentions the scene with Takarada that was cut, and that Edwards stated cutting the scene was his biggest regret.
Oh, yeah, you're damn right it was.
And that despite it being cut, he's still listed in the closing credits.
Damn. What we kind of skipped over this part, but there's like a part where we mention Hiroshima, but I can't remember. Maybe I'll go through my notes really quick. I was like, okay, we're getting some lore here. Are they doing it justice? I am unsure. Let's see if I can find it. I cannot find it, but I can't remember what they were saying or how I was wondering how you felt about it, but now I can't find the note.
I don't remember either.
Well, balls. Too bad, so sad.
This is TJ Storm, and you're listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
Well, Honeybee, what are you going to rate the 2014 version of Godzilla?
Well, I have two sort of opinions here, okay? Because I feel like as a movie, the people shit just kind of sucks in the second half. Like the first half, the people shit is so good that I just really am disappointed a little bit by the people shit in the second half. Because like I said, I don't mind this guy, this Ford person. Like I definitely don't dislike him as much as you do by any means. But I do think there isn't I just don't care about it. I just don't care about the storyline very much past his dad and his mom. And that kind of just was a bummer for me. But I do think it was a great movie. I think it was great. So I kind of feel like maybe it's that kind of maybe brings me to a 4, I think. Maybe. I'm thinking a 4.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a high 4.
I also give it a 4. I like it. I don't love it. There's just not enough. I mean, the effects are great. I like the design. I'm just glad that it happened. Bryan Cranston's performance gets 5 stars, but
5 stars. He's
not enough Godzilla.
so good. Not enough.
Not enough Godzilla. Too much Ford. Olsen wasted. Just a 4.
Definitely not enough Godzilla. But I think the Godzilla that we get is quality. And I do love how, at the end he just goes back to the ocean like, all right, well, peace. And everyone's like, hero, not like, oh, and now we have to wait until he comes back and strikes again and kills us all.
Yeah.
I kind of love that he's the hero. And I do like our little Mothra Easter egg, and I'm so glad that I saw it. I am definitely going to go back when we get off of here and see if I can see a little tiny moth in there ever, or like a little larva or like anything. But yeah, I'm going to say 4 because I want to say 5, but it just wasn't that. It's just not quite 5. It's 4. It's a 4 for me.
All right.
And it's just because, not enough Godzilla. With too much people shit that we don't give a shit about.
Folks, let us know what you thought. Send us a message. Go to mmftg.com and drop us a line or leave a comment wherever you're listening to this. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review and like and subscribe and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Next week's movie, regrettably, is Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark.
I'm so glad that this is what we started season 5 with and not that piece of shit.
Yeah. So it's, of course, by the goddamn Asylum, and you can watch it on several things, Tubi and Pluto, I think, and probably pretty much anywhere. Godzilla is not streaming right now for free for some reason. You can buy it, you can rent it. It's not on HBO. The other stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of Godzilla movies are on multiple platforms. But the other MonsterVerse stuff is Godzilla versus Kong, Godzilla X Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla King of Monsters is on HBO, but Godzilla 2014 is not. I don't know why.
I know. I noticed that even Godzilla -1 was like streaming in a few places too, like Netflix and shit.
Yeah.
But no, this Netflix. Godzilla.
Yeah, crazy.
But it's worth it. It's worth it. Rent it. Buy it. Own it.
Somehow you
Love
don't already own it or haven't seen it. You can rent or buy it on all the platforms. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah. Happy season 5, Precious.
Happy season 5 to you too, Honeybee. Until next week, I have been Precious D.
And I have been Honeybee.
Remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements.
And please don't misuse science.
We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please consider rating and reviewing us on your podcasting platform of choice. You can leave us a message and find links to all our things at mmftg.com.
Beep, 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 beep. Warble, warble, warble. Beep, 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 beep. Just a little bit. Beep, 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 beep.